What am I? No. No. How do you want? You did. You want to lick. This. I'm telling you guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele-Vash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to subscribe, to like this video, to comment, and to leave a comment, to share this video. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you so very much for always watching my video. I truly appreciate you. Hey, all right, so today I want us to talk about a post, a message that was sent to one of the groups that I belong to on Instagram. I remember when I saw this message, I showed it to my husband. I'm like, look at what is going on here, and we had a lengthy conversation about it because it really broke my heart, but at the same time it really made me angry. So I thought, okay, let us have this conversation. I was going to have it with my husband, but he was too busy with work. We couldn't have this video. So anyway, she said, hello, I hope you see this. I am hurt beyond words. I need to know if I am overreacting. My husband and I used to have great sex until he joined a fellowship few months into our marriage where he was told that oral sex is a sin. We started having lots of issues about the topic. This is someone who used to tell me that he enjoys giving me head, oral sex, even times when I did not want it. We recently had another episode of quarrel about this issue, and one thing led to another. He called his father in my presence. He told his father that I asked him to lick my VJ. God. Okay, he told his dad that I asked him to lick my vagina, and he refused, and I said I wanted to move out of the house. Those were his exact words. Apparently, this was not the first time he and his father would be having such nasty conversation about, our sex life, but that was the first time of me hearing him discussing such with him. His father asked him to give me the phone and said, how will I ask his son to do that? That this is a sign of marine spirits. Hey, God, oh. Mind you, his father is a pastor in one of the apostolic churches. I was so ashamed and mad at the same time. I yelled at my father-in-law and told him to mind his business. I told him it is an abomination for a son to even discuss that with his father, and it shows how uncultured they are. I was crying too, but I needed to defend myself. The worst thing that happened was that my father-in-law called my mother. Hey, Jesus. Every time I read this message, it's like the first time I'm reading it, and told her these exact same things about his son refusing to give me head. I am mad to say the least. He even told his son not to look for me if I leave the house, which I don't even care about, honestly. I want to know if I overreacted and what I should do to correct this nonsense and childish thing my husband has done. He's not even sorry about it. He's still defending himself, yet still trying to have sex with me. What do I do, please? Am I overreacting? When I read this message, Jamila, I was so pissed. But then again, I could understand also. I could understand the husband, I could understand the father-in-law, and I definitely understand the wife, right? And yeah, first of all, what do you guys think about this? What's your thought? What are your thoughts about this topic? Do you think what she was requesting was, what the husband did was okay? Do you think that the father-in-law did the right thing calling her parents? What do you guys think about this, first of all, before I talk about my own? Because honestly, I found this very disgusting. I found it very childish. I found it very annoying. Like, I couldn't even imagine if I was in that situation. I knew I would never be in that situation, but if I was in that situation. But let's take it one step after the other. You guys know that we talk, I have a number of videos about oral sex, especially when it comes to Christianity, and all of that, and how there are lots of controversies about this. And really, my conclusion is always do what works for you, do what you believe in, don't engage in it because anybody is telling you to do it or not. But as far as is it a sin, it has always been a debate in Christianity, right? There are some school of thoughts that believe that your mouth has no business down there. There are some school of thoughts that believe that, and I belong to that school of thoughts that believe that, you know, God gave us sexual organs, not just the vagina and the penile, right? There are other, I mean, your mouth is a sexual organ. You use it to kiss your body. So if you can kiss your wife's neck, you can kiss her back, you can kiss her boobs, you can kiss her bum. Why can't you kiss down there? Like, you know. But anyways, that is my own belief about it. But I also always say this, that you cannot impose any kind of sexual act on your partner, especially if they don't feel comfortable in it. But this one is very dicey because before they got married, this was something they were discussing. This was something both of them were okay about. After they got married, this was something they have been practicing. This was something that was good for them until the man went to a fellowship and he heard that it was wrong and he changed his mind. Now you can see that I can understand why the wife would be very mad at it, because imagine that maybe my husband goes into a fellowship now and he was told that he's the only missionary that, you know, is the ordained way for a man to have sex. And my husband says this is the only way we'll be having, you know, you get it. So this is what I always say, that it's good you marry a man that is spiritually sound but also has a relationship with God, because if you don't have a relationship with God and are convinced about certain things, especially when it comes to sexual relations in marriage before you get married, it might be a problem. Like it will be easy for people to toss you around by their opinions, which really is not biblical. Because again, I always say this, that the Bible did not speculate or say how sex should be done in marriage. God left it to us, right? He gave us the organs and he left, you know, the application of it to us. He didn't tell you this is how it should be done, but we have that instinct of how it should be done, right? It's not in the Bible, the style that you should have sex in, the, you know, and all of that. God just gave us the organs and it's clear, right? And that's why, you know, there are certain things that are perverted sexually that we have adopted. So I understand when, you know, there are churches and in Christianity, or there are churches and believers that believe that, you know, we cannot keep pushing, we can't be allowing things in the marriage bed, because then where do we draw the line? So if we allow, or why can't we allow anal, why can't we allow, you know, threesome and all those things, and say that because we are married, then anything is permitted. In the last video I mentioned that because you're married, it's not everything that is permitted in your marriage bed, and I mentioned those things, right? I understand the church and why they want boundaries. I also understand, you know, the husband going to a church that, you know, and is convinced or convicted that this is a sin for him to engage in that. But I also think that it is also not a good thing, because this is something that we agreed on, this is something we practice in marriage, and then all of a sudden you are changing your mind and you're not giving me time to get there. Because remember, I've said it here several times that the sexual organ of a woman is more complicated than that of a man, and for a lot of women, you know, penetration does not do it for them, because our, you know, sometimes it takes time, especially if you're new to the act. It takes time for you to orgasm through penetration. So because of that, you have to try a number of things for the meantime until your body gets used to, you know, that happening. If you have questions about that, please watch my previous video on sex. I explained extensively on this topic, right? So I can understand now if the woman doesn't feel sexual satisfaction, you know, if certain things are not done, including oral, right? So I understand how offended she felt that, you know, the man just cut her sexual satisfaction off because he felt after marriage that it's a sin. I think that personally, this is my opinion, and I would like to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Please don't if you don't agree with me, don't come and tell me I'm saying rubbish. You know, the way people leave stupid comments, you know, it doesn't make sense. You can share your opinion without being condescending. You can share your opinion without being rude. But anyways, ladies, so I get that But I also believe that, you see, the Bible says that husband, give yourself to your wife. Why give yourself to your husband? Because your body does not belong to you. Neither does your husband. Your body belongs to you. So basically, as long as it's between the two of us, it is not your satisfaction that matters. It is mine. I am supposed to be after your satisfaction, and you're supposed to be after my satisfaction. So if for any reason along the way, I feel like, oh, maybe certain things we are doing is not right, first of all, go back to the word. What does the word say? Give yourself to your partner. So you should have conversations about it. And even if your partner is headstrong, maybe pray about it and try to, get your partner to the place of conviction, but don't just cut your partner off and tell her we are no longer doing this because it's a sin. I just feel like it's not a good thing. And I don't think that the pastor that advised you thought about your marriage before, he told you not to just cut things off because he thinks it's a sin. Because again, remember that before you got married, this was something that was being practiced. So how come after marriage all of a sudden you want to just tell your wife we are no longer doing this thing anymore? No, you can let her know that I don't think this thing is a sin. I don't think this thing is right. But you can see, the truth is, as women, we are made nurturers. When we see that, you don't believe in this thing anymore, you don't like this thing anymore, but I see you sacrificing because of my own satisfaction, it will get to the point where the woman will tell you know what, let's not do this anymore because I don't want you to, I don't want you to do something that, you are not comfortable with. At least if she's a woman that really loves you, it will get to that point where the lady will say, okay, I see how you're struggling to be able to do this, but I like that you're doing this for me. All right, so let's reduce the rate we do this, or let's cut it off eventually, right? So but you have to get there with your partner. So it's not like if you, okay, let's, for instance, the two of you were unbelievers. Let's give this an instance, because in that instance it's like the two of you, the church was telling you that the two of you did not believe in God, right? Let's assume the two of you were unbelievers and then you met God. Do you now, and the Bible says do not be equally yoked with unbelievers. So do you now divorce your partner because now you have met God? Do you get what I'm saying? You don't divorce your partner, even though your partner might still be doing sinful things. The Bible says that the faith of the believing will save the unbeliever. So your thoughts, your actions, the things you do, the way you love them like Christ loved the church, the way you admonish them, those things will convert your partner with time, right? So you don't go and divorce your partner because you have suddenly found Christ. It's the same thing in this scenario, because you have suddenly seen the light that oral sex is wrong, but this is something you guys have been practicing. You don't now go and say that I'm cutting you off, even though this is something that gives you satisfaction because of that. No, you let her get there. You convince her gradually onto the two of you, and you pray also that God will change her heart until the two of you get to that point where you are now okay without it. Or maybe even ask the Holy Spirit to help you to look for techniques to be able to help her to get to orgasm, or even enjoy sex where she will not even need oral. Sometimes it's not even maybe because you're not even no longer interested in it and stuff, but you have to take it little by little. It's not something you just suddenly say you are no longer doing. I think it's absolutely wrong the way the husband approached this, and just suddenly saying that we are no longer having. I think that is really, really wrong, right? So that is one. Now, secondly, calling your father one of the things my husband agreed on, and I always tell advise married couples, when you have disagreements in your marriage, it is easier when you call her parents or call her people if you absolutely have to. If it has gotten to a point where the two of you cannot come to an agreement, it's better you report her to her family than your family. Because guess what? Even if this issue resolved, the father-in-law will always see the child that way. Because what you need to understand is that our parents don't. There are certain things that we do sexually that our parents will die if they know that we do those things. Like they will outrightly faint, right? Because to them it's absurdity, right? So imagine now going to paint that kind of a picture to your father. Jason, no. I think that is so wrong, because that is you literally demeaning your wife in the presence of your father-in-law, in the presence of your family. Because guess what? From your father, the lady's mother-in-law is aware, and who knows, the husband's sisters and brothers might also be aware. Imagine the way they'll be looking at your wife. So after you guys resolve the issue, because the idea is for you guys to resolve the issue, so after you resolve it, how would they be talking about your wife? How would they be looking at your wife, in your family? Because guess what? If it's a family he called and he reported to a family, it might have been an issue. The mother might have told the wife off and stuff like that. But guess what? She's their child. They will never look at her anyway because she belongs to them. But you don't do that to your in-laws. You don't demean your wife. You don't sell your wife. You don't even report your partner to your parents. It's wrong. It's totally wrong, not to talk of in an issue like this where you know that most likely your father will defend you. Your father will never defend that kind of act. You know that already. So basically, you are not doing this because you were trying to get anybody to talk to your wife. No, you were doing it basically because you wanted someone to support you. And that's wrong. That's absolutely, even if your wife was threatening to leave you, there's some things that should never come out of your mouth, especially if you still want that marriage to succeed. So honestly, no, no, how do you you did even to lick this, I'm telling you guys, when I saw this, I was like, God, how do you even open your mouth to tell your parents that about your spouse? What kind of respect do you think they will ever have for her? Like, what were you thinking? Anyway, so that's that. Now the father-in-law, let's get to the father-in-law. First of all, hey, your son called you to tell you about something about his sexual life with his partner, and you are saying, give me the phone, let me talk to your wife. That's what? That's like, excuse me? I mean, the ideal thing to say in that situation was, your wife is there and you're calling me to tell me about things going on in your marriage bed. Like, go and sort it out with your partner. Why are you, like, if I was the father, is to tell the husband off. What are you talking about? You're calling me to tell me about your marriage bed. Are you not a man? Can't you control your home? You're calling your like, I would have told him off to the point where he would have regretted. He will never try it again. But for a father to be comfortable talking to the daughter-in-law and be saying that, can you ask my son to do such a thing? You pass the father, you pass your boundary. That's there are some boundaries you don't cross. That's your son's partner. That's your son's wife. That's about their marriage bed. You have no business whatsoever interfering in their business. When such a thing happens, you're supposed to caution your son. I didn't even realize I was wearing glasses all the while. You're supposed to caution your son that these are not things we discuss in public. These are not things you call your parents to talk about. You take charge of your home. And even if something like that happens, you cover your wife. You don't tell your wife or to your family it's wrong. That is what you're supposed to tell your son. Not to say, let me talk to your wife, and then you start talking to her about her sex life. I'll tell you, that father passed a boundary. Honestly, I don't blame her for how she spoke to him. I don't know what I would have done if that was me. Because of what? In my married bed, you want to give me No, I think that the father-in-law to pass the boundary. So honestly, I think that what the man should have done was, even if you want to have that conversation later with your son, you don't interfere in their disagreements about their marriage bed. That's something you allow your son to deal with. Even if you want to talk to your son later, you talk to your son privately. That's a disgrace. But the son, no, God forbid that I marry a man like that. God forbid. God forbid. Because I know that in moments of anger, people act crazy, but not to the point of calling your partner, your father, to discuss your marriage bed. My wife wants to leave because she asked me to lick her vagina. Hey? Anyways, now to the woman. Honestly, it's obvious that, she wants to move past this, and I don't even know what to advise. Guys, what would you advise? Because I can just understand how she must be feeling, because every family function she goes to, she'll be self-conscious, because what do you think people are saying about me? What do you think this man thinks about me? What do you think people like? There's always that self-consciousness. How do you even move past this? Anyways, my advice would be, your husband needs to know that what he did was wrong. And if there's anybody that your husband is, maybe his pastor, the pastor that told him that oral is bad, if there's somebody that he respects spiritually, you guys need to have a conversation. You need to literally have somebody that can talk sense into him and let him see that what he did is absolutely wrong. You can't just go back to business, say he's asking for sex. After all of that, you can't go back to business as usual. There has to be a conversation, because something is wrong. So whether it's his pastor, whether it's whatever, you guys need to have a conversation with somebody that can be neutral, not someone that would, not your family members, because now the father-in-law now called her mother and told her that your daughter wants my son to lick. No, that's passing of boundary, sir. Father-in-law, that's a pass of boundary. You never do that. Anyways, you guys need to find someone that is neutral. If it's to go for counseling, if it's to go for, go to your pastors, go and have conversations, go and have, that's one of the reasons why it's difficult. I always advise that you cannot be in a marriage and the two of you have different covering. You can't be in a marriage that your husband is attending the fellowship. Why didn't you follow him to the fellowship? Like, why did the two of you, no, I don't believe in, he has a pastor, I have my pastor. Why? The two of you are one. So why do you have different covering over you? This is one of the issues that come up when the two of you have different doctrines, different churches that you are attending, and they are preaching two different things to you guys, and then you come and you're trying to make it work. Please, it's better that when you're married, it's either you attend your husband's church, or the two of you look for a mutual church that the two of you will attend that you like. But we pay you attend this church, you attend this church. That's dangerous. It's a danger. I know that it's the same God, but there are different doctrines that churches preaches, and sometimes churches preach their doctrine as if that is the standard in Christianity, and that can be a problem in a lot of marriages. So get someone that is unbiased, that can talk sense into the two of you, and help you to resolve this issue, and help your husband to see that what he did was wrong, because he needs to apologize for that, and he needs to make amends with his family. I don't know how that's going to happen, but he needs to look for a way to have his, I don't know, apologize to you and try to dead the idea in the heads of your family members. Do some damage control, because a lot of damage can be done through this. But this is what I think. But I really do think that you guys cannot just move on from this. You need to have somebody to talk sense into the two of you, and let your husband see that what he did is unacceptable. You cannot do that in marriage. You are destroying the reputation of your wife in the presence of your family members. Why would you ever want to do that? When the two of you settle, then they will not carry it in their head. Do you understand what you're doing? I want to see if I will see any comments in the comment section. And I don't think you were overreacting, honestly. I think if I was in that situation, I probably would have done worse, honestly. This is the problem with asking for advice, especially if you're a Christian from a public platform that has different opinion, people from different backgrounds and all of that. Because people are telling her, go and get vibrator, oh, your husband is a baby, your husband is this and that, but nobody's really giving her a solution to help her to save her marriage. But honestly, at this point in time, I don't know. I just feel like the husband was wrong, all shades of wrong, and the father-in-law too was wrong. I think that the wife really needs to forgive her husband, but you really need to talk about what happened. He needs to understand that what he did was wrong, and you guys need help. You need somebody. You need, maybe talk to Pastor Mildred or the husband to be able to come together and talk sense into you. The truth is, you cannot force your husband to do oral if he doesn't want to, right? You need to find other ways to enjoy sex with your husband. You guys need to come up with other creative ways, because first of all, if you're saying no oral, what other ways would you help me to get orgasm if I'm not able to do that through penetration? But even if I am, what other ways what other things that is not considered sin in your fellowship are we allowed to do in our marriage? Those are things that you're supposed to talk about. But these are things that is normally you discuss before marriage, right? But it's a problem when your opinion now changes after marriage. You don't communicate it harshly. You have to communicate it gradually, right? So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is all I'm going to say about this, because even talking about it again is getting me angry. I'll talk to you guys in another video. Please make sure you share this video. I'd like to hear the opinion of the people that are close to you. Like this video, share, comment, share it with your partner. I'm telling you, share it with your family member, because you might think this thing will never happen to you, and all of a sudden, share with your husband, share with your wife, have conversations about this. Let us, to give them an idea of what do you think about this scenario, and what do you think about my response. So make sure they watch the video, okay? All right, remember to subscribe if you haven't. Remember to like this video. We'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Bye.